doping is not just allowed, but it's encouraged. There was also a marsupial lion. So in San Francisco, Waymo's self-driving taxis have hit the street. Hey guys, welcome back to The More You Know, a series on YouTube where we go through interesting topics that we find on the internet. Let's get straight into the first one. So what would you consider the peak of athletic performance? Like maybe the Olympics? I guess for track and field events, that's probably where you see the peak of athletic performance. Or if you're talking about mixed martial arts, maybe the UFC has the best talent. And maybe boxing, it's like the WBA, WBC, World Heavyweight, or the weight class fights. Possibly there's a limiting factor in all these places, which the enhanced games is trying to get around, let's say. They're hoping to have their first event at the end of 2025. What exactly are the enhanced games? So, as you may be aware, for most of these athletic events, there are certain substances or performance enhancers, maybe you would call them, that are on the disallowed list. So enhanced games is basically where doping is not just allowed, but it's encouraged. So it's basically a sci-fi movie where the athletes can use all the performance enhancing drugs that they actually want. So why the heck would somebody create this, right? The brains behind it, Aaron D'Souza, wants to push human limits beyond what's naturally possible. It's like asking what if Captain America and maybe the Hulk had an MMA fight or a race. The idea is to create an event where people don't ask can they do it clean or are they doing it clean, rather what is the maximum limit that a human can push themselves to or achieve. Yeah, imagine a post-race interview where they're like, oh, I owe this to a strict diet of raw eggs, spinach, and I owe that cocktail of performance-enhancing drugs and testosterone. Obviously, critics aren't thrilled about it. They argue that it promotes drug use and sets a bad precedent or a bad culture. The proponents say that it's freedom of choice, and there is a lot of talk that currently in sports as well, people are using a lot of performance-enhancing drugs but just hiding it, or they know the way to get out of the testing. Like, for example, even at the Tour de France, majority of the athletes are on performance enhancers, is what the founder Aaron has said. Obviously, there are some questions about like what is the long-term effects of doing this kind of performance-enhancing drug use on the athletes, but it also is possibly a way to find out new solutions that can help people live better. Because when you talk about enhancing particular things for athletes, it's also more studied, right? The particular drug could be more studied and seen whether it could help humans in maybe other ways. In a few years, you'd have these athletes doing performance-enhancing smoothie brand deals. The founder has even said that he would give $1 million to anyone who could break the 100 meters record or even the swimming record. So it's even enticing athletes who are poorly paid to take part in the Olympics. They don't make a lot of money. So they claim that they would pay them much better. The end of 2025, that's when it's projected to take part. And I think it is quite interesting concept to see how far humans can push themselves. And ultimately, it comes down to your personal choice, right? You have the choice if you want to take part in this, if you want to push yourself, if that is what brings your life purpose. I say go ahead with it. It would be interesting to watch, to be honest, to see what is the furthest that a human can actually push themselves. The potential cons are obviously that there could be misuse and people could get influenced by this. They shouldn't do it unless it's under professional doctors supervising them. It's an interesting concept and we'll see how it progresses over the next year and a half. Let's travel back in time to the land down under, where kangaroos could have been as big as buses and wombats could have been mistaken for sumo wrestlers. Welcome to the world of megafauna. Megafauna, basically big animals. Back in the day, these prehistoric giants roamed all over Australia. This is around 46,000 years ago. A Diprotodon, it's basically a wombat on steroids, weighing approximately 3,500 kilograms. That's a lot. That's like 77 humans almost. There was also a giant short-faced kangaroo. There was also a marsupial lion. Obviously, a marsupial is when you have a pouch. There was a lion with a pouch in Australia. There was giant kangaroos as well, not just your friendly neighborhood ones that you see now. To be honest, the kangaroos that you see now look scary enough. Have you seen the video of the guy fighting the kangaroo? Those are crazy kangaroos as well. So imagine them double the size. That's like stuff out of nightmares, to be honest. So these massive animals were part of the ecosystem until humans showed up, obviously. So the theory is that a mix of hunting by the early humans who went to Australia as well as climate change led to the animals shrinking in size, and obviously some of them even went extinct, like we don't have a marsupial lion anymore. So it's quite crazy to imagine that there were these animals which existed, and we could have seen all these kind of animals if humans possibly didn't go into Australia. So imagine the ecosystem that they lived in, right? All these massive animals, and how their extinction actually impacted the landscape, the ecosystem. I bet the early humans in Australia probably had some wild stories. So I think it is quite a sobering thought to think about how our world was a much bigger, wider, crazier place. The world we live in today, the modern world, is way different to what it was before. And it makes you think that maybe there is a pocket of somewhere in the world which we haven't yet explored, and which has certain animals or species of animals that we haven't encountered yet. It's quite an interesting topic I thought I'd share with you. So let's zoom into the future with self-driving taxis. The days when you have to awkwardly sit and chat with your taxi driver are almost over. So in San Francisco, Waymo's self-driving taxis have hit the street. So you call a cab, instead of Bob the driver, you have fully autonomous vehicle, nobody sitting in the front seat at all, just you, a comfy seat, and your favorite playlist. Imagine the freedom. You could eat, nap, even dance like no one's watching except AI is probably watching. That's a bit creepy, but hey, welcome to 2024. But let's be real, handing over the decision of driving to AI is quite sketchy in my opinion. I mean, obviously they probably work the algorithms quite well to make you as safe as you could be, and the death toll that is caused by humans due to traffic accidents would be reduced a lot because it's such a huge number now. Especially in India, if you look at these numbers, it's crazy. The tech behind it is quite crazy. They're equipped with sensors, cameras, and LiDAR to navigate the streets, avoid obstacles, and get to your destination safely. Of course, it's not all smooth sailing. There is concern about safety, job losses for traditional drivers, and ethical decisions AI might have to make in split seconds, really. Because we all know about the ethical problem if you have a train on a track heading towards two people who are tied down to a track, and you have the option to divert the train to maybe another track which has one person. Would you do it? Would you cause the change to save one life, but you're changing it and causing the death of another person, right? So there are those ethical decisions that AI would have to make in a split second. But of course, there are benefits to it. These cars learn and improve in each drive, making the AI smarter and more efficient. It's like having a chauffeur who gets better with each drive. But how do we feel about trusting our lives to AI? I think that is something we're still not super confident or comfortable with. Plus, what if AI decides it knows better than you? Straight out of a sci-fi movie. Imagine troubleshooting. Please restart your car to complete upgrades. But despite all these arguments, I would say that we're heading to that kind of a future. Maybe not too far away, we'll all have our own self-driving pods. Okay, it's bonus fact time, or bonus facts, shall I say. Today we'll be going through multiple bonus facts, so I hope you enjoy this. So the moon looks upside down in the southern hemisphere. Well, upside down as per what you see in the northern hemisphere at least. The man on the moon looks like a rabbit when you look at it from the southern hemisphere. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, but I just never thought of it. So fish form orderly queues in emergencies. When evacuating through narrow spaces in sketchy situations, schools of fish queue so that they don't collide or clog up the line. Scientists say that this shows that fish can actually follow social rules like us humans. So your nails grow faster in the summer. This is probably due to increased blood flow to your fingertip. It could also be because you're less stressed during the summer and you're not biting your nails. Animals can experience time differently to humans. So the smaller the animal, usually the slower time goes for them, because it's all about how their brain processes the information that it's getting. So salamanders and lizards, for example, experience time more slowly than cats and dogs. The fear of long words is called hippopotos monstrosecquipedaliophobia. Sorry if I scared you. So Mount Everest isn't actually the tallest mountain in the world. Come back next week and I'll give you a full explanation why. The more you know. Thanks guys for tuning in to another episode of The More You Know. I'm sorry I couldn't make an episode last week. I was really down with a bad sore throat and a cold, and I was busy with work and other commitments as well. But obviously I'm back. I'm better than ever, and thank you if you made it this far. And a like would go really far if you like this content, of course, and subscribe, because I'm going to be doing this content for a long time now. So if you really like it, please subscribe, please like the video, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.